Cocaine?
No thanks.
Say no when someone offers you drugs. Just walk away.
It's not easy being a kid today. Teens are faced with risks like drug and alcohol use throughout their daily lives, whether it's at school, a friend's house, or over the internet.
We started talking about yesterday drugs and alcohol and the problems that teenagers are having with this in our culture today. And I told you today I was going to give you some practical steps to fighting the temptations and the desires and just the pull of our culture to get you into those things. And I just want to tell you first off, if you don't know Jesus Christ, that's the first step. Jesus came to seek and to save that which was lost. We're all have gone astray. We've all gone our own way. We've all rebelled against God, and we're all sinners. And we need God's forgiveness. And that's provided for us through His Son, Jesus Christ, and His death on the cross. Simply bow your head, ask Jesus to save you, confess your sin to Him, and believe on Him for your salvation. And He will not only change your life, He'll change your destiny. And for those of you who are Christians, you know, you still have to struggle with the same temptations in our culture that non-Christians have to struggle with. You're still going to be tempted with drugs and alcohol. I want to start to give you a few. This is obviously not a complete list of things, but just some things that I was thinking of that maybe you haven't thought of, and I want to share with you today. The first thing I would tell you is that as a Christian, you need to acknowledge that your body and your life belongs to God. It's not yours to do with as you please. Our verse for today says, "Do you not know that you are the temple of God and the Spirit of God dwells in you?" So the first thing is realize, you know, I'm not free to just do what I want to do. I'm following Jesus. And if I'm following Jesus, I'm not going to put anything or do anything to my body that I know He would disapprove of. Number two, I would tell you, teenager, that you need to stay as far away from drugs and alcohol and those who use them. It may mean you have to separate yourself for some people that you consider really good friends. Because eventually, if you continue to hang around that, more than likely, you're going to try those things and get into those things. Number three, I would tell you to pray about it. Jesus said to pray, "Lord, lead me not into temptation." He also said, "Pray lest you enter into temptation. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak." God knows that we struggle with sinful flesh, and God knows how easy it is to be entangled in the things of this life. Number four, I would tell you, one of the ways to avoid getting into drugs is to deal with your problems when they come. Don't just push them aside or let them build and grow into something that's this huge thing that you're going to go out and self-medicate. Number five, I would tell you never to listen to other teenagers who are doing drugs. Don't take their advice, because they'll all pretend to be an expert on drugs, and a good amount of the information they're going to give you just isn't true. "Oh, I've been doing this drug for years, man. It doesn't affect me. You know, it doesn't have any effect on me. It doesn't have bad side effects. There's no problem with it." Don't listen to people who are using drugs if you want advice about drugs. Number six, you know, there was a slogan back in the 80s from the Reagan administration that said, "Just say no." It was to arm kids with something to do when someone came up to them and tried to sell them drugs or offered them drugs. You know, it works. Just say no and walk away. You don't have to discuss it with your friends. You don't have to give them a 10-page letter of why you don't want to do drugs. Just say no and walk away. I think they'll get the picture, and you'll be out of that temptation. James 4:7 says, "Therefore submit to God, resist the devil, and he will flee from you." And the last thing I would tell you today, because I don't want to make this too awful long, is that you need to make goals as a teenager, and you need to get busy. Idle time is not a good thing. Proverbs 6:9-11 says, "How long will you slumber, O sluggard? When will you rise from your sleep? A little slumber, a little folding of the hands, and so shall your poverty come like a prowler, and your need like an armed man." Don't give the devil opportunity by simply having nothing to do, but just hanging out all the time. You're young, you got all that vitality, you got all that energy. Put it to good use. Pursue your dreams. Get involved in some good things. So there's really no time that you're idle to sit around and have so much temptation to get into the bad things. Well, I hope those few things help you. Tomorrow we're going to really focus in on alcohol, because if you're going to find, alcohol is the biggest drug of choice for teenagers today. God bless you. God's with you. God loves you. And I'll see you back here tomorrow.